Hi, my name is Arlena, and I'm the Career Advisor for Bow Valley College's Career Services area. We are located in the South Campus of Bow Valley College on the first floor. Today we're going to talk about interview skills, how to prepare and handle common interview situations. It's really exciting to be called in for an interview, but it is also important to remember that it is still a competition. There will be other people there who are competing for your position, so you will not automatically be given the job just because you go to the meeting. Therefore, in order to be less nervous and increase the possibility of being more successful, it is very important to research the company and to be very prepared for any questions that they might ask you. Step one for preparing for the interview is to research the company. First, read the company website. Find out when did they open their business, how many locations do they have, what products or service do they provide, plans for the company's future, and it is important to learn about their values and mission statement. Often employers will ask you what the purpose of their company is. You can find this information also on their website. Step two in preparing for the interview includes taking your job description out and reading it through and thinking about all the questions that they might ask based on the job description. For example, in this job description for the position of receptionist, they would like someone who's positive and can have immediate responses to internal and external clients, someone who ensures all calls are transferred in a timely and accurate manner, someone who can greet clients in a prompt and professional manner, someone who records telephone messages on the computer, and someone who can assist and cooperate with colleagues during peak periods. So some of the basic skills they're asking for are at the bottom: customer service, multitasking, reception, and time management. The questions an employer will likely ask will be based on these 4 skills that they ask for in the job advertisement: customer service, multitasking, time management, and reception skills. So step 3 in preparing for an interview is to write out examples from your education, your work experience, and your volunteer work that match the skills that they are asking for in the job advertisement. So type out examples and practice them out loud. An example of a time you were positive, an example of a time you were cooperative, and an example of a time you multitasked as well. For example, in relation to the receptionist job advertisement, you could type out examples and practice them out loud. So write out an example of a time you were positive, cooperative, and multitasked well. So some examples of how to write your answers to potential job interview questions might begin like this. For customer service, you could say, there was a time when I was working that I had an angry customer, and think about how you solved the problem. For multitasking, I have 5 kids and I have to be very organized to get everything done in a day, and then tell them how you do that. Do you get up early in the morning? Do you stay up late to plan your day? Reception, I volunteered and welcomed people at one of my association events. Were you friendly and organized? Tell them more about yourself. And finally, time management. I get up really early or I stay up late to plan my week. Really great job interview answers have 3 parts: a situation, an action, and a result. For example, an employer might ask you to tell them about a time when you had a conflict with a coworker. So the answer to the question would be, I was having a problem with my coworker. The situation was she was always talking about her personal problems at work, and I found it distracting and difficult to focus on my work. The action that I took to resolve the problem was to take her for coffee to talk about the situation. So the result of the situation was that I suggested that we go for lunch and talk about our personal lives during that time, but during regular hours, we just talk about work. She said she didn't know it bothered me. She agreed, and we decided to go somewhere different to eat our lunch every day, and this really improved our relationship. Step 4 is to make sure you know how to get to the interview. Do you know who you're meeting with, and are you certain of the time? Do you need to take a practice run to see how to get to the interview? How early should you arrive? Typically, you should be at the interview about 15 minutes before the scheduled time. Step 5 is preparing the day before the interview. Decide what you're going to wear the night before. Print out extra copies of a cover letter and resume in case you have to hand them out at the meeting. And also organize your portfolio or any other documents you might like to show to the interviewers. There are several different types of interviews. There's the telephone interview, There's a one-to-one interview. There's a panel interview, which has more than one person interviewing you. And it is important to also remember that you might not only have one interview, but you might have 2 or more interviews with different people at the same company. That's called a serial interview. Remember, interviewers are not supposed to ask about topics unrelated to the job. For example, they're not supposed to ask you anything about your personal life, really, like race, color, gender, religion, national origin, birthplace, age, disability, and marital or family status. If someone asks you one of these questions, you could say, "I'm sorry, but how does that relate to the position?" Or you could say, "I prefer not to answer that question as it is private." When you're there, remember to be professional. Don't chew gum and turn off your cell phone. So if an employer asks you a question that you can't answer, you could say, "I have not had that experience, but if that happened, I would do this." It is also okay to say, "I don't know." It is much better to say, "I don't know," than to make up a story that isn't true. A list of things to avoid are: don't talk about money until the interviewer brings it up. Don't tell stories that are unrelated to the question. Don't make up stories that are not true. And avoid casting yourself in a negative light. Always talk about things you can do more than things you can't do that match the job. Also avoid reflecting poorly on your previous professional relationships. Remember to stay positive even if you didn't like your previous job. The difficult question. Some people have had some problems at work, such as being fired or laid off, or maybe you've been at home raising children for several years and you don't know how to answer questions related to these situations. If you have a difficult question that you don't know the answer to, it is important to sit down with a teacher or a trusted friend, or come and see us at Career Services, and we will help plan an answer to your difficult question. Talking through the difficult question with someone you trust is really important. Be honest, be positive, and be ready. The final step in the interview process is to thank your employer. So at the end of an interview, ask for their business card, and then when you get home, send them a thank you email. Career Services is here to help you prepare for the interview process. So if you think you need extra help with preparing for your interview, please make an appointment with us and we will run through practice interviews with you. Career Services is located in Learner Success Services on the first floor of Bow Valley College's South Campus. Good luck with your interview process.